Hi everyone, Jane here. Thank you for watching today. I'm doing something a little bit different today in that I fancied just doing a really sort of smaller project, and I am going to be decorating a jumbo playing card. Now, I got this idea from Maremi's Small Arts Facebook group and her video channel where she does this on a sort of regular basis, where she gives a theme for you to decorate a jumbo playing card. Now, you don't have to have jumbo playing cards. You can just use a piece of card. I think the dimensions are roughly 3.5 inches by 5 inches. And I just happened to recently be clearing some stuff out, and I found some jumbo playing cards, which I thought, oh, I'm going to join in. Now, the challenge has been running for a while and I hadn't done it. So I've gone back to the beginning. I've started from the first prompt, and the first prompt was flowers and text. Now, she does have a group which you can go to and look at the different prompts. And the group is on Facebook and it's called Cut and Collage Art Journaling with Maremi. I will write it down in the description box along with a list of what I've used and Marta's channel and things like that, so you can find out more information. Now, I started by prepping my card with some white gesso, and then I'm taking some little pieces of text from the Whispers Between the Music Notes book. Now, I am using Marta's books, obviously, because if you want to then put your pictures in the group, then obviously you would need to be using images from Marta's book, but you could use the idea of this challenge for whatever you wanted, and you don't have to do it on a jumbo card. You could take the inspiration of flowers and text and make a card or make a journal page. You know, it's just sometimes we need a little bit of inspiration to sometimes kickstart a project if we're not quite sort of knowing what we want to do. So I am attaching these little bits of torn paper to my card with matte medium, and I like to use the Liquitex professional matte medium, and then I put a layer of clear gesso. Now I'm using the Liquitex professional clear gesso. Now, just to say, if you are looking for clear gesso, this is quite a gritty textured gesso. I like that. I like the tooth that it gives you. But if you want something that's a bit smoother, then this probably would not be the gesso for you. So check around for what different clear gessos are available. I then wanted to add a bit of colour to the card, so I'm using some of the Amsterdam acrylic paints. These come in a set and they're little teeny dinky tubes, and I've gone with buff titanium light just to add a little bit of warmth to that background, to sort of blend in with that paper a little bit more. I wasn't too worried about it blending at this point because I knew I was going to put quite a few layers. Now, I do lots of heat setting on this project, and I was being a little bit careful because often these cards have like a plastic coating, so you do need to be aware of that. I wanted even more text on my card, so I went with a stamp set from Polkadoodles called Vintage Text. Again, I will list what I've used in the description box. I won't add links because a lot of what I use is stuff that's already in my stash. I've had a long time, and I think if you've got something similar, you would be able to use that anyway. So I'm using ground espresso archival ink to stamp onto my card, just to add a little bit more of that in the background. And then I thought I want even more text on this, so I went with this stencil. Now, I do not know where this stencil came from. With a lot of my stencils and things, I take them out the packaging, I have them in my folder for a long time, and then I have no idea. It looks like it could again be from a magazine. I have quite a few that come from magazine kits and things. And so I put the Stamperia cream paste through the stencil and then allowed that to dry. And then I wanted to add a little bit of colour, so I'm adding this Frosted Latte coloured ink spray just over the top so that it can catch amongst the stenciling. I wanted to frame my card a little bit more, so I've got the archival ink and I just went round the edges, and then I just tapped it onto where the stenciling was, just to catch that texture and bring it to the forefront a bit, because it sort of sunk into the background. And I also felt that my card was becoming a bit dark, so I added some white splats with some Winsor & Newton drawing ink, I think it was. I chose an image from the Botanica book by Maremi, and I put it onto a piece of very thin white card before I cut it out, so that it became more of an actual focal point that I could stick properly with a piece of foam. Now, because this was going on a card, I wasn't worried about adding extra dimension. Excuse me. Sometimes if I'm in my journal, I do sort of think about keeping things flat. So I've got a bit of book paper that's all about flowers, and I've got some thread, and then I just cut a couple of words from the Whispers Between the Music notebook, and that's my card finished. So I'll put all the details for the challenge in the description below. So if you're interested, then do please go over to Facebook to have a look. Thank you ever so much for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, do please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed and you like this content, do please hit that subscribe button. Until the next time, bye bye.